Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6 Reunion Part 3.
Listen here, this is the last part of Love and Marriage Huntsville, but we will be reviewing Love and Marriage DC. That's supposed to be coming out next weekend, so join us the same way as y'all joined us for this show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the above. Let's end this with a bang, Blair. Let's go.
Okay. Well, we start where we left off before with Miss Betty and Mel arguing. Mel called her the devil. Stormi says that she likes Mel, but she felt that the tweet situation got out of hand and Mel could have helped reel it back in. Betty says that she doesn't like Mel, and Mel says, well, shame on you. You know, I don't dislike you, Miss Betty.
Well, I don't know what it is. There's something to... I don't like the fact that Mel called Betty Miss Betty. If you're disrespecting me, I'm not calling you Miss. And then on top of that, like, I'm grown too. Especially if you're yelling at me on stage and things like that, I'm not going to be subservient to you and things like that and give you the respect that you think you deserve. What did you think about the scene? Do you think it is possible for something as simple as something is online and you know how they have the millimeters and things like that? They may take wind of it. They may take hold of it. Do you think it was Mel's responsibility to reel it back in or like to fix it or like whatever they asked them to do?
It wasn't her responsibility, but at the same time, I think Stormi thought she was more of a friend to Mel than she found out this season. Pretty much was that, oh, Mel changed her number. She didn't even tell me. I guess we ain't that close. So if you're in the mindset of thinking, okay, that's my friend, and people are saying I went to her house and recorded her and all this type of stuff, then you would think my friend would be like, y'all leave Stormi alone, you know? And even if she wasn't your friend, I mean, somebody that you're cool with. So it's not Mel's responsibility, but if she noticed things were getting out of hand, then it would have been nice for her to say, you know, you guys got it wrong.
Yeah.
You know? And just to speak on how she handled Miss Betty, I really thought that she did a great job, because I do feel like you don't have to get as gutter as the person coming at you. And I feel like Betty was just nasty, and I feel like she didn't like Mel from the jump, and this was just her reason to go even harder.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think Mel handled her respectfully and also packed her up to say, I don't even know why you're talking to me. We don't have no business. So I thought I was pleased by how she handled her.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Mel handled her wrong. I'm just saying, like, as for me,
yeah,
the Mr. and Miss thing stops way early.
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah, I feel like Miss Betty was up there acting like a fan more than someone who was on the show. Even when, like, go up there and talk about you. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't go here and talk about community posts and things of that nature. Stormi had no control over her mama.
No.
The same way. So that's why I'm like, hey, listen, for the next season, Lou, Tiffany, take Stormi with you. You get what I'm saying? Because she can't control her mama and things like that. So, yeah, I do agree that maybe she thought her and Mel was closer than like they actually were.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know if I could put that on Stormi because Mel she do give you that feeling, or at least from the camera, from what we see, that, oh, we are friends, and then you just change your number on me. So
Yeah.
So it's like, am I wrong for thinking that we were friends?
Right.
Like,
Especially because Stormi, like, she was actually trying to take Mel under her wing in some regards when it came to showing her warehouse and how she goes about, you know, creating her business when it comes to like the e-commerce stuff. So I felt like it was a nice give and take relationship. And then all of a sudden Stormi saw like, oh, Mel doesn't talk to people during downtime. Mel will change her number and all this type of stuff. And even though I feel like Mel was the MVP of this reunion, I think more so because last reunion, she kind of just allowed people to run with whatever story, and she really didn't say much. But I liked that she spoke up a lot more. She tried to set the record straight in a lot of different situations, and she respectfully packed people up.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
So we discussed Junior getting fired and then rehired. Junior says that there are a lot of ups and downs working for your cousin. He took advantage of some of the ups that he admits, and he says that he has matured a lot since then. He actually decided to leave the company and work for someone else because he says that he just didn't want to continue working for his cousin. He had too much love and respect for her, and it was not always the best dynamic. He is at a manager at a restaurant now, what Stormi reveals, but she gets a little tearful and she wishes that he would have been a manager for Canvas.
Respectfully, I don't care. Move on.
All right. Lisa declined coming to the reunion. Betty says that things are still the same when it comes to her sister, and she can't mend things on her own.
Listen, one thing I do not like is when somebody's on the outside trying to tell me, how come it can't work out? Carlos, stop asking her questions about her family when you literally filmed a whole 1,000 episodes of seeing their dynamic. You seen how they are. You know there's no way for them to get together and actually work it out. Yeah. They are already stubborn and stuck in their ways. So it's like, I just felt like even though we got to a scene or two or maybe a segment or two with them, it was a waste of time. We did not need to talk to Betty. We did not need to know that Junior works at a restaurant. We didn't need to know anything about that. We took time away from Nell and Chris and things like that. Even though they had their moment, we could have used this to fill it up with something else. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Anything on them? Nope. All right.
They bring KeKe and the Fletchers back on stage. Yeah. Junior and Betty leave, and then we see footage of the Fletchers throughout the season. So Nell talks about how things with her family have improved. Her son Chris calls and he checks in a lot more, and her point was that she was always loaning out money, and she was saying that Chris doesn't like to get called out and feels that his parents don't need the money, but she says we do. We got bills too. So she says that she dropped the money issue and just told him, pay me whenever you get it, to preserve the relationship.
Hey, listen here. Maybe that relationship just gonna have to stay damaged in my eyes.
Oh, goodness. Because you wouldn't let it go like that?
You're a grown man, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like for one, if I'm giving, maybe it's because I'm from the perspective of if you give money to someone who asks for money, it's kind of wild to expect money back from them because for one, they came to you asking for money. So it's like I'm at the same time I'm not asking them to pay me back, but at the same time for me to be like, oh, I just dropped the money issue and basically our relationship is better and things like that. Oh, no. You're a person who take advantage of folks. You are somebody who don't like accountability. You are somebody who can't be dependent on. You get what I'm saying? So even though you're my son and things like that, our relationship is definitely different and damaged.
Yeah, based off of the decisions you've made.
Not the money, the character. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, I feel like she just like, to keep the peace, I'm just dropping the money and things like that. And I'm like, the money is the vehicle to the real issue. I can't count on you. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? What did you think about how they progress in their relationship and the in and outs of their relationship so far?
I mean, I appreciate Nell and Chris. They really seem to show up for their kids. Yep. And are super, they're a lot older, but they're very mature and responsible, I feel like, when it comes to their children. And I do feel like if Chris was dealing with depression and things like that, then I do think that it was smart to alleviate some of the pressure, because now it did seem like at the dinner, she was pressing the money issue. And even though that is a issue, I don't feel like that should be something that you're fussing about every time you see your kid. It's just like, okay, you owe me, but I don't know. I felt like maybe she was maybe pretty heavy-handed about it. Okay. But I do agree with you in the fact of I've given you help, I've given you money, and it doesn't seem like you're showing appreciation. And I feel like that would definitely affect the dynamic of our relationship. I would still be there for you as a parent, just thinking hypothetically, I ain't got no kids, but I would also have to put you in a place to where I can protect myself, because I feel like you would take advantage of me given the chance. Yeah. Well, moving on, Chris says that they have been business owners in the community for over 30 years. And we're talking about the Black Expo thing and how they felt slighted that they weren't invited to the Black Expo. And he says, look, us and the Scotts, we've been friends or associates for many years, so it didn't make sense for why they would be left out. Nell says that Tisha told her that she's would make sure that she would be part of the Black Expo. And for Nell, it was more so of just do what you say you're going to do. Tisha says that she planned to invite Chris, but when it started, she more so focused on the core six. Stormi and Tisha talked a lot, and that's why Tisha invited Stormi and Courtney. She says that she really didn't have that relationship with Nell and Chris. Marsau pretty much hijacks the conversation. He says that he thought it was sexist when Chris came by the house at one point and he talked about his cleaning business, but he didn't bring up Nell's childcare business.
Listen here. If there's anything, Marsau go be the spoon to stir some drama up. But hey, listen, I kind of agree and don't agree at the same time. I can understand why Nell feel like, hey, do what you say that you was going to do, because I have my own children who don't do what they say they're going to do. So that's a trigger for me. Yeah. So I can understand Nell feeling some type of way. But at the same time, I know how whenever you're planning something, there is a business benefit of the core six of that community know their faces, and they are used to the comeback group and things like that, even though the comeback group did not come back and do anything. So I feel like this is something that is just like, you kind of just button it up and kind of cross your T, dot your I's. It's nothing to really fall out about. But next time, I think Tisha shouldn't make false promises. And maybe next time they be on the next Black Expo. Maybe if there is another one.
Maybe so.
Anything you want to add?
Pretty much, it's just hard for me to believe that Tisha and Marsau didn't know that Nell owned a childcare business. I feel like Tisha even said it.
Daycare?
Yeah, the daycare business. Yeah. I feel like Tisha even said like, well, she owns the daycare business. So, I mean, one of them knew. I don't know. But I do feel like I'm very much like Nell in the belief that if you say you're going to do something, do something. It really wouldn't have been that hard to say, hey, do you think you guys can speak for a segment when it comes to the Black Expo? They didn't have to be included in all the meetings and all this type of stuff. But if you said that you wanted them to participate, just say, hey, could you guys say a quick 5-10 minute speech to motivate the people and let them know where you come from in Huntsville and where you guys are now. And I also feel like with the Stormi situation, you brought Stormi in because Mel didn't want to speak or participate. So that wasn't even we're close, we talk, so that's why I pulled her in. No, it wasn't even like that. She was an afterthought. So
yeah, maybe next time it probably would have been easier to get Nell and Chris anyway, and they probably did it for free. Yeah. So besides having a tug of war with your friends, maybe it would have been easier just to have Nell and Chris come up and speak. They seem eager. Yeah. You know what I mean? Come on, let's go.
Tisha wanted to ask about the infidelity question because she says she's direct about things. Nell found out Chris cheated because someone told her, and she pressed the issue until he told the truth. He says that he only cheated with one woman, and there was an 18-month separation between them. She says she was able to forgive him because of love, and they were able to move on and, progress with their life together.
And this is Carlos asking about the cheating?
Yeah, it was Carlos asking about the cheating. Carlos asking why Tisha felt that she had to ask that question. And I felt like Tisha's answer to that was pretty lame. By her saying that, I'm just direct about things. Why are you asking about their infidelity? They always share their infidelity. They talk about where they've been, where they're going, and things like that. So it did really seem out of the blue for her to ask about their infidelity at the dinner that they were at. It was odd to me.
I think she asked at the dinner just off the strength of, I think she was trying to be, passive aggressive, because it wasn't, it was a question to Nell and Chris, but it wasn't about Nell and Chris.
It was like an attack on Marsau.
It was about the issue that Marsau and her was going through and things like that. It wasn't about Nell and Chris and things like that. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, Nell says that she knew that they loved each other when it came to Martell and Mel, and that's why they fought so hard for them to try to work things out and to forgive. Fletcher said that Fletcher used to have the same cockiness and arrogance that Martell did. And that's why Nell said that, Martell's cockiness is going to make him lose his family.
Yeah, now that's the thing about it. In this segment, it's interesting how they kind of in just that statement alone, they are really showing their dynamic and their role that they had in Mel's and Martell's life. You get what I'm saying? Now they knew each other and they've been friends and basically counselors to Mel and Martell throughout their problems. So for Nell to say like, look, man, I have been in your shoes, Melody, and Martell, I can see Chris in you. You get what I'm saying? Like I know where it's going to end for you, and for you to like to continue going, you're going to lose your family. And it kind of just shows like the character of Martell and where he is now, that he actually had people who was willing to sit down, talk to him, and things of that nature, but he still continued to go on and to really not listen to the advice and the counsel that his friends was giving him. So yeah, what did like you think of that so far before like we get more into it?
I mean, I pretty much agree with you. I mean, Martell had everything at his disposal. I mean, he had a forgiving wife. He had friends that were in her ear trying to help her stay with him and forgive him and trying to encourage him to be better.
Yeah.
And he just pissed it all away.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what it is.
Come on.
And Mel says that, you know, they've always been very supportive and solid friends to them.
Yeah.
So we see the footage from the Houston trip, and Carlos is asking about who was this woman that came after filming.
Yeah.
Martell said that the lady who came was some woman who was there to give him massage.
Okay, I like massages.
And Carlos asked everyone, did they think it was disrespectful for him to bring a woman there? Kimmie says that she didn't care because, look, they both elected to move on. Whatever's whatever.
Kimmie, I think there is something to, I hear a lot of people say that whenever it comes to the men on this show, you are there with your pom-poms to defend them. How do you not think that it is disrespectful? Look, Martell thought it was disrespectful. That's why he set up that his friend come at 3 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. If it was just a regular thing that had nothing to do with respect, trust me, he would have had them there at regular business hours or regular hours when the sun is up and things like that, not when he thinks everybody in the house is asleep.
Right.
So I don't really understand that answer from you, but go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Nell said that it was disrespectful because he brought a woman into their home,
Simple.
you know, this house that we all coordinated for us all to be there as couples and to bond, and he just brought this random person.
Yeah.
Mel says that, you know, she got a massage therapist because Kimmie calls it out and says, well, Mel, didn't you get a massage? And she says, like, yes. She says she got a massage therapist to come to the house for her. It was a lady. She says that there's a massage app to where you can book a massage and the person comes with their own table. They're not just massaging you on a bed like Martell was over here saying. And then Martell steals her answers like, yeah, I use the same app.
Hey, listen, I don't know what it is that Kimmie's trying to do or trying to make it seem like, you know, didn't you get a massage? It's not about the massage. We want to know who the woman was, because obviously the woman who came to the house during those hours was not a masseuse.
No.
So
there wasn't no massage there.
So like the same way as Mel was like, hey, where was her bed? Where was her equipment? You get what I'm saying? Like it obviously wasn't. Listen, we don't need to know who it was. You get what I'm saying? I really don't care. I think it's just those type of things that is used in the show to antagonize Mel, to make it seem like what's the word? To basically gaslight Mel to get a reaction for a scene. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And that goes back to the point of doing the show. I feel like Mel did a good job in not buying into it, not biting on it. You get what I'm saying? Just like biting on that bait and things of that nature. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. Well, Martell, we move on. Martell gets upset whenever Nell brings up the mistakes of his past when it comes to cheating. And he says that it wasn't 5 years before he cheated on Mel.
Okay.
Before Mel cheated on him. And then Mel tries to get him to explain the timeline, since he's saying, you know, it was around this time and you did this first and all this type of stuff. But he doesn't explain it, and she calls him a liar. And he gets upset because he doesn't feel like he's a liar, and she's always calling him a liar.
Well, you know, a hit dog holler.
Yes.
So continue.
Carlos says the viewers felt that Chris allowed Martell to speak to his wife disrespectfully. And Chris says that he sees them as brother and sister, and he sees it as them just going back and forth in like a loving relationship way. Yeah. Mel says that no matter how close we get to you guys, you should not allow Martell to disrespect your wife. You don't sit up here and call somebody your friend and then say that you try not to disrespect them. You just don't disrespect your friends.
So. What did you think about that, dude? Like when Carlos brought up that issue that a lot of people felt like Martell disrespected Chris's wife and he should have said something. How did you feel about Chris's response to that?
Yeah, I didn't like Chris's response to it.
Really?
Yeah, I do feel like on this show a lot of the times the men and women are put in a box to where it's like, oh, I can't communicate with you. I got to talk to your husband. Like, you can't talk to the person you have an issue with because they're a woman. And I don't feel like that's always the case. I feel like you can talk to people and have conversations. But Martell was getting loud. He did walk up on Nell. I felt like he was being aggressive, and I felt like it was out of line and out of order. And I do feel like Chris, even though he's very laid back and chill, which I think is helpful in a lot of situations, but when it comes to Martell disrespecting his wife, I don't think he should have gotten like out of character, but he could have said like, hey, this is the line.
You want him to punch him or something?
No, I just want to say, hey, this is the line. You don't get to come to my house and talk crazy to my wife in her own home or on her steps. You know, like, this is ridiculous. And if you can't respect our boundaries, we will no longer be supportive friends of you. I mean, Chris is over here getting this man rental homes and giving him time to get out the house until he finds another place, allowing him to squat and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just feel like, Martell, we've helped you a lot, and this is our boundary. Yeah. Respect it or get ghost is how I feel about it. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think y'all take it too far. I think Chris hit the nail on the head about it being a brother and sister relationship. Nell, this is how Nell communicates as well. I feel like as personal as people may have took it, Nell didn't even take it that personal, in the sense of she basically was like, hey, your boy was over here yelling at me and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But other than that, like, that's just how I think that's their dynamic. Like, Martell starts yelling, Nell starts yelling, Chris just be like, hey, listen here, y'all both need to chill. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Especially if Chris took Martell under his wing and tried to mentor him and try to counsel him and things like that. So I think there is some sort of grace that Chris has with Martell that we definitely don't, because, you know, we are viewers and we've seen everything. But I think he kind of like, hey, look, don't be, because he said it. He said, hey, listen here, you and Nell, like, y'all don't have to do that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't come to the house, get into it with her and things like that, because she go come talk to me about it and things like that. It's not like Nell was saying, even though Nell brought it up, it's not like Nell was saying, quote unquote, I hate him and like I don't want to deal with him. She basically Nell said it herself a lot of times throughout this episode, throughout this finale, that she handles herself pretty well. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But go ahead, continue.
Well, Carlos asked if Martell thinks that he owes Nell an apology. He says that he feels that we both owe each other an apology. Nell says, you walked up on me though. And then Martell, he pretty much says, dang it, I'm sorry. Yeah. And he says that, you know, a woman really shouldn't yell at a man. Pretty much a woman is overstepping her boundaries by talking to a man in a certain way.
Listen here, you can say whatever you want to say, Martell, but it doesn't apply to the scene that we saw. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I feel like if one person ain't yelling, the other person ain't yelling. If one person ain't overstepped, the other person ain't overstepped. So I'm not going to look at Nell and how she treated you and how she basically told you to go get as if you didn't fuss at her. The only issue, or like the only bail that I can give Martell in this, is that they was actually arguing or having a passionate debate about something that was isolated from them. It was about a situation. It was about, you know, like, Melody cheated, Melody did this. It wasn't like a personal attack of like, Nell, you is this, you is that, you is that. So that's the only bill I get him. But, you know, Martell Martell don't like to apologize because he don't like to be accountable. He don't think he did nothing wrong. He don't think he did anything wrong by himself. So he just like, I think we both should apologize. So that's just his way of basically avoiding accountability. He don't take it with his friends. He don't take it with his ex-wife. It's just the norm with him. Anything you thought about that?
No, I said what I need to say.
Yep. Yeah. Continue.
Well, Tisha felt blindsided when it came to KeKe coming to Houston. Yeah. KeKe says that she came on the trip to amend for the wrongdoing that she did. She wanted to make it clear that she owned the issue and she wanted to apologize.
Yeah.
She also wanted to go to Houston and have a good time with everybody.
Yeah.
Nell says that, because Carlos asked, Nell, why was it important for KeKe to be there? And Nell said it wasn't important for KeKe to be there for me.
It wasn't. She
says that she thought it would have been better for KeKe to apologize when they got back to Huntsville. But KeKe was adamant about coming. Tisha says that, we'll always be family, but I don't want KeKe in my space. And when it comes to what their family members have to say about the relationship, they always tell her that her and KeKe need to talk. But she says she's done trying.
Yeah.
KeKe says the goal was always for Tisha to bring her onto the show. Tisha said that Tisha didn't want her on the show with what she was dealing with. And she said that KeKe had a lot of issues, and if it was her, she wouldn't want all those issues to be possibly brought up in front of thousands and thousands of people on television.
Yeah, because Carlos brought up the idea that, hey, I feel a lot of people feel like you're using Tisha to get on the show. And KeKe like, listen, hey, I have my own merit to get on the show. No, you don't, KeKe. I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't care about the KeKe story, or didn't care about the KeKe story. If you would have came in as KeKe somebody else, you came in off top as Tisha's cousin and things like that.
And she said Tisha was intending to bring her on.
But she's trying to reject the fact that, hey, like, the only reason why I'm on here is basically to interrogate Tisha and things like that. That's how I took it.
Okay.
And I'm like, no. Like, I'm only saying that about you, KeKe, because that's all we seen from you and things like that. I don't like the vagueness of what Tisha said about the things you're dealing with. There's that. But my whole thing is, like, all you've done, KeKe, is basically, like, use Tisha's life, Tisha's storyline, Tisha's marriage as basically a key card to get access to the show. Other than that, we don't know nothing about KeKe besides, the drug use and the alleged Costco thing. Other than that, we don't know nothing about KeKe. Go ahead, continue.
KeKe says the only issues that she had were the drug use and the infidelity within her marriage. Marsau and Tisha said, well, there's other stuff.
Okay.
KeKe pretty much says, name them.
And guess what? I feel the exact same way, KeKe. I'm like, Marsau, if y'all go keep saying there's other stuff and things of that nature, say it or don't say it or don't say it. Don't play around with it and stuff like that. Go ahead.
Marsau wants it to be on the record that he has never revealed new information on the show about anybody.
Yeah.
KeKe would like to reconcile with Tisha, but she says that when she's angry, she goes to the jugular, and she knows that she gets low and low down, but she can't help herself. The really sad part, though, is that their daughters are best friends and that they aren't allowing their kids to hang out and, be best friend cousins the way that they normally do.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't really feel any way about it. I feel like if the parents are getting along, then no, you're probably not going to see your bud. And that's the reality of life, until you're an adult and you can actually take yourself, around to see the people you want to see and all that type of stuff. But no, if the parents aren't getting along, I ain't going over there.
Yeah. KeKe, you just described why you're a bad person. Like, I don't understand this whole thing of, like, sometimes when I'm mad, like, I go for the jugular and I say the most hurtful thing. Okay, how can you say that and then say, like, I do want to make up with Tisha? Why would I want to make up with a person that admits to, like, they want to hurt me in the most hurtful way when they feel some type of way?
And then I just have to forgive you when you're over it.
Like no.
That gets old fast.
No, I'm not doing that. Continue.
Yeah. Well, Carlos brings up the pregnancy test that Tisha took.
Yeah.
Tisha took it because she felt sick and she felt like how her previous pregnancies were.
Oh my God, Tisha.
Marsau's only thought was that she would have stepped out because of the vasectomy. He says any woman is capable of making a bad decision. Tisha has always believed Marsau is faithful, even with all the rumors, and wished that he would have stood up for her in the same way that she stood up for him.
Why would I stand up for you in the same way if you come to me and say you're pregnant? Like Tisha, I don't want to do this with you no more, and I'm happy this is the finale of this season.
Yeah.
So I can get some type of reprieve from Tisha and her logic.
Yeah.
Why would I, as a husband, listen to my wife and believe my wife when she says I'm pregnant and it's wrong for me to think, oh, you're cheated on me. Because I have no ability to impregnate you. And you are going to tell me that, hey, there's a 99.9% chance that you could have impregnated me. Or things like that. Or, excuse me, it's a 0.1% chance that I could impregnate you. Because a vasectomy is supposed to be 99.99999 effective. So I'm supposed to believe in my 0.1 besides another person's 99.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand Tisha's logic, but I'm happy this storyline is over. Hopefully you and Marsau could come together and come up with a better storyline and things like that. I would like to see a finished house, a finished renovation, a finished office, a finished something.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Stop bringing new storylines that makes no sense. That's wasting our time and things like that. Marsau is not going to leave his wife, and Tisha is not going to leave Marsau. So leave those type of low energy vibration type of infidelity things for Martell and Melody. That's gonna be their storyline forever. As long as they both on the show, we always go talk about their marriage. And then just keep doing your thing, because we already know the Kimmie Maurice marriage is eventually going down a path that I think I have already said I see smoke.
Yeah.
I don't trust Maurice. You get what I'm saying? So I just said, just leave it alone. Go ahead, continue.
Well, the full cast is back on the stage,
Yeah.
including Tiffany and Lou. And pretty much Carlos thanks everyone for their contribution this season and on the finale. And he says to Tiffany again, if at any point you were going to come back, the door is always open.
Listen here. Tiffany, take Stormi with you. You get what I'm saying? Take Stormi with you. And things like that. Anything that you thought of about this season, this finale, these reunion parts and things of that nature, Blair?
I was thoroughly entertained by the season. I did not feel like it needed to be a 3-part reunion. I did feel like we stayed a little bit too long on KeKe and Tisha. And I do feel like the Junior and Miss Betty situation really didn't need to happen. We could have just asked Stormi, how your family and them?
Pretty much.
So, I would have liked to see more of the Fletchers storyline, and, you know, even bringing out a child into it heirs would have been okay with me. But, yeah, I felt like this part of the reunion was kind of like rehashing and recircling a lot of the things that I feel like were flushed out during the season. Like the whole pregnancy vasectomy thing. Nothing's changed. They still feel how they feel. And the same thing with Tisha and KeKe, their relationship has not progressed. So, yeah. And then with Marsau and Mel, like we seeing them argue about stuff and the timeline of the cheating in the relationship. And thankfully, yeah, Martell. And Carlos, he wrapped up the situation, which is like, okay, we've been talking about this for like 6 years. Yeah.
Well, you keep bringing it up.
But it's like, yeah, I'm done arguing about who cheated first. Like, Martell, you have a baby to prove your infidelity. I think, you know, we can close the book on that one.
Please. No, I was entertained by the show. We will be back for DC next week. I mean, we're going right into DC and things like that. I would like some progression in the storylines, but I think the reason why we won't see it, I think we're at the point in a franchise to where everybody's not friends. So everybody is going to meet up to film, but I don't think everybody talk off screen. So you basically just go pick up where we left off, besides the natural progression of
like
what
life isn't happening. Other things aren't going on.
Exactly. So like there's no comeback group. We just go bring that up again because that's where we left it off at the Black Expo. There's going to be a Black Expo 2 that's probably going to happen next season and things like that. Just storylines that is quote unquote with the franchise, but not with the natural progression of friends that talk with each other all the time.
Right.
So that's sad. But like I said, I'm guessing maybe I could be proven wrong and things of that nature. But we enjoyed y'all. Y'all be good.
Bye.